I'm Derek Joyce and I'm here with Paul O'Murda, and this is I'm Not the Expert, but this is a podcast where we'll discuss everything from the most complex ideas that we know nothing about to the simplest ideas that we probably know nothing about either. So put the kettle on, get comfy and join us.
The Mona Lisa has no eyebrows.
No eyebrows at all.
None at all. She used to have. People always wonder why Mona Lisa doesn't have any eyebrows. The mystery has been solved, all thanks to an engineer named Pascal Cotte. When Da Vinci painted her originally, she did indeed have eyebrows. But over time, these eyebrows were eroded due to cleaning to the point where they're no longer visible today.
So how come only her eyebrows are gone?
Now, I'm just guessing, and I do a bit of painting myself, so I have a little bit of an understanding of this stuff. Certain pigments will last longer than others and are more resilient. So I'm just wondering, was it the actual pigment he used in the eyebrows?
I don't know.
Was it just that, and that's actually washed away, whereas other pigments are more long lasting, more permanent?
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't agree with it, or obviously she doesn't fucking have eyebrows. I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying. I know there are a lot more obvious features on a face. Sorry, let me start that again. There are a lot less obvious features on a face that could fade into the background to the point where they are no longer detectable with your eyesight or whatever than eyebrows.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. Like, they're fairly heavy duty, like. And who's to say that isn't the case? I mean, we don't know what the Mona Lisa looked like when it was originally painted.
Maybe she had a beard.
No, you know what I mean. There might have been a hell of a lot more detail in that face than what we see today.
Isn't there a whole raft of questions about whether it's actually a woman?
Really?
Yeah, somewhere in the back of my head, I remember people questioning the gender of the Mona Lisa.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe it always was a woman in the painting, but Da Vinci's muse,
or his model may not have
been a woman.
Have heard
so
that said
somewhere
before.
in the back of my head,
I
know
as well when
it's
been X-rayed and stuff, or bloody CAT scanned or whatever it is. It's not quite an X-ray, but it's he had used that canvas for 3 or 4 different paintings before the Mona Lisa.
Yeah,
there's other
I didn't know
behind that. Yeah, there's other stuff behind that. Yeah. It just goes to show he was quite frugal as well. Waste not, want not.
Yeah, well, there is all that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though that, as you said, like her eyebrows are the only thing that's disappeared. I'd argue that and say maybe her face was a lot more vibrant or had a lot more detail.
I'm
to
sure
it.
it
and
was
they've
much
lost
more
that
vibrant.
over the years.
Yeah, but they haven't lost any other distinctive features on her face as opposed to a whole fucking eyebrow.
Yeah. See, that's what makes me think that it may have been a certain pigment, that whatever chemical they used to clean just took that whole pigment off.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
I have questions.
Okay.
I question, not yours. I don't question you. I just question the
whether that fact
veracity
is
of the
valid
fact.
or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I am open to correction.
You know what they need? They need that Spanish lady that fixed up that picture of Christ.
Oh, Jesus, did you see that?
They need her to fix Mona Lisa.
No, they really
Give
don't.
Mona Lisa a unibrow.
They do not. Anywhere near.
The fucking picture that you want me to. Jesus Christ. That was fucking hilarious.
Now, this one I love, right? This is a great little fact. Ants take a rest for around 8 minutes in every 12 hours. But they don't do it individually. The whole hive will rest.
At the same time?
For the same 8 minutes.
So it's like a chemical signal or something?
Yeah, they all just kind of down tools for 8 minutes. They don't even sleep. They never sleep, though, which is bizarre.
Yeah.
They're just at rest for like 8 minutes and then it's back to work.
I can't imagine how bad life would be without sleep.
I can go 72 hours as my record without sleep. I'm a chronic insomnia. I hate sleep.
No, I love sleep. I can't function.
It's my ADHD.
After 24 hours, I'm a zombie. I'm not walking around going, I need my sleep.
No,
but I'm not functioning
at 100%.
Which makes me sound like some sort of athlete or something like that. And I'm absolutely not. But I'm not functioning. I'm not working well. I'm not thinking straight. So fuck that.
I'm very well acquainted to absolute exhaustion because of my ADHD. Like sleep is a massive problem for me.
Yeah.
And then throw in my arthritis in my back, and it just becomes doubly so. So for years now, I've probably slept an hour, wake up, sleep for 40 minutes, wake up, all through the night. That's when I bother going to bed at all.
No,
Right.
need my sleep. And it took me years, sorry for interrupting you.
No,
It took me years to find out that if I drink excessive amounts of alcohol, my sleep gets worse.
Does it?
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
I'm
drink at all,
eyes are
so-
shut and I'm not conscious and I'm asleep, but it's not restful sleep. It's not good sleep that you need to recharge your batteries.
Yeah, no,
It's
I understand what you mean. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fucking awful. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I like as I was saying there, I'm very well acquainted with absolute exhaustion because it's often that is the only time that I can actually get a good quality sleep is when I literally fall down. That I just cannot go anymore. And I'll crash. And I mean, that could be 3 o'clock in the afternoon sometimes. And
Yeah.
I'm just, I've been up for 4 or 5 days straight, getting an hour here and an hour there. And then it's just, boom, shut down. And I hate going to bed. I hate going to bed, especially hate going to bed during the day. The odd time it'll just be, I'll have to say to her, right, Lisa, I'm literally struggling here. I'm going to have to go and put the head down. Now, that's very rare that I actually get to that kind of stage. When that happens, though, I can go up to bed at 3 o'clock and I will not wake up till maybe 11 o'clock the next morning. Gone.
No.
And then I don't
Love my
again
sleep.
for a week then.
Don't come
Sure,
between me and my
yeah.
rest.
No, I'm a night owl. I've always been a night owl.
Fuck that.
Yeah, like I'll stay up watching.
No. When I used to,
Binge
in my
watching.
20s, when I went out with my friends on a Friday or Saturday night, I have a point where I'd switch off and go, nope,
no way.
going home. That's it.
And the thing with my ADHD as well, like if I have 2 points or 3 points, it's a stimulant.
No.
Like I'm up then for the night. I'll come home from the pub at whatever time, 12:30 or whatever, and everyone else has gone to bed, and I'm still up watching TV or sitting on the computer till 4, 5, 6 in the morning. Like
Yes,
no
that's
sleep.
not me.
Once I have alcohol, there's no sleep.
No,
You
that's not me at all.
It's mad. Like, what is the most popular male name in? Well, actually, the most common name in the world, not just male or female.
It's not a Chinese name because I don't know
Ah.
any Chinese names.
So you got this
But
one I asked you before.
It's a Middle Eastern.
Yeah, of course
thing.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Go on.
It's Muhammad.
All right. Okay.
Which is fairly obvious.
Yeah.
Fairly. As per the 6th edition of the Columbia Encyclopedia 2000, Muhammad is the most common name in the world, including its variations. So Muhammad.
Yeah.
More than 150 million men and boys in the world bear the name Muhammad, which makes it the most popular name in the world.
All right.
150 million Muhammads. That's
Okay.
mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, now this one absolutely genuinely, and I have another one as well similar to it. I have a fascination with numbers.
Okay.
Right? Now, I'm by no means a mathematician, right? I was
A mathematician.
a mathematician even.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? I was fucking shit at maths in school.
So
I was
yeah.
dreadful. I ended up doing foundation level in my leaving cert. That's how bad I was at maths, right?
I'm.
I done higher level everything else, and I done foundation maths, right? I was a disaster, right? And then I went to college, and I don't know. Did you have maths when you were in college?
Like in college and
Yeah.
animation,
No, when you went over to ITB when we were over there.
I was doing creative digital
I know, yeah.
media.
I was doing computer sciences.
Yeah,
not
that
maths.
makes sense
Yeah,
mathematically.
okay, fair enough.
But
right.
no.
But
I
anyway,
didn't.
yeah, I went over and I was in cold sweats when I realised there was maths on every semester of the 4 years. I was like, oh shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But we had a guy called Marcus Hoffman. I don't know whether you met him over
No,
there at all, did you?
don't even know.
Oh
the
my
name.
God, he just made it all make sense. It clicked. Boom. For the first
Yeah.
time in my life, maths made sense. And I bloody blitzed it. I got A's and B's all the way through. Like, I couldn't believe it. But anyway, that kind of instilled in me a fascination with numbers and how numbers interact in weird and fucking wonderful ways sometimes, right? I came across a couple of facts here that I loved, right? As you know, Celsius and Fahrenheit are different temperature scales, right?
Yeah.
There's only one point at which they intersect where Celsius and Fahrenheit are actually the same, and it's minus 40 degrees. So minus 40 degrees Celsius is the exact same as minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Just the way the maths works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the way numbers interact, as I was saying. It just kind of fascinates me. I can't explain that as to why that is. I'm sure if I sat down and kind of went through it for ages, I could probably work out why that is. But I love that, it's just...
Okay, you need to sit down and go through it for ages and work out why that is. Because I can't put
and
that
then
together
come back.
in my head.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. And then the other one is, I have to get this right now, 111,111,111 multiplied by 111,111,111 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I wonder.
I just love that.
Yeah, it's
I
brilliant.
love when numbers do that.
I wonder who woke up one morning and said, "Now what? I wonder what 111,111,111 by 111,111,111 is."
I wouldn't even say it was that. I'd say a mathematician would probably know.
Yeah, well,
it's that, and why the numbers are interacting that way to produce that.
Well, that's what I mean. They would have pushed it into some sort of computer or something and said, find out what the sum for creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is.
Yeah. Well, I just love the way, that kind of, and the fact that it's all ones, like it's 9 ones multiplied by 9 ones.
Yeah.
Throws out that result. Like it's just a beautiful symmetry.
Yeah.
That, in the
maths is a universal language,
it is.
man.
It absolutely is. And it's little things like this that make you realise that,
it's a universal language and I can't do it.
You can't understand it.
No,
I have a very rudimentary understanding of it, but it does fascinate me. It does absolutely fascinate me. Right, so as I said, maths was not my strong suite. English, though, however, very much was, right? So here's a couple of these ones, right? Rhythm is the longest English word without a vowel. So it's a 7-letter word. It's RHYTHM. There's no vowel there.
Okay.
And that is the longest word in the English language without a vowel.
It's also a dancer.
Rhythm is a dancer, indeed. Yeah. Indeed it is.
I'll never forgive myself for saying that, but
Snap.
yeah, it is.
Right, now this one, bear with me now. Right, now bear in mind, I have a stammer, right?
Okay.
Not that any of our listeners will get it because I have conquered it, but this one's going to be tough, right? The sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick is said to be the toughest tongue twister in the English language. And I just fucking nailed it.
So you nailed it at 30. Fuck you, man. You nailed it at 33 RPM. Yeah. That's not what a tongue twister is.
Okay, let's try and do it faster. The sixth sick sheep's sixth sheep sick.
No, you didn't do it.
I did. The sixth sick sheep sick.
There you go. You didn't do it again.
Okay, I didn't quite get it. Right, anyway, this tongue twister is considered to be the toughest one to say by the Guinness Book of Records. Known as the sixth sick sheik's sixth ship. Fuck off.
See?
Known as the sixth sick sheik's sixth sheep's sick. This tongue twister is extremely difficult to say as these string of words quickly multiply. This may not make much sense, but then tongue twisters are little more than just a series of words put together to exercise your tongue.
I always thought tongue twisters were the words that make you say fuck or shit or piss.
Nah, that's just kind of funny limerick kind of idea.
Yeah, that's what I always thought they were. No,
I was trying to say that made me say fuck fairly quickly. Anyway.
It's they're obviously not. If Guinnesses are saying this is the toughest tongue twister to say, and they're recognising it, then it's not going to be that crude.
No,
you know what I mean?
True enough.
Yeah, but I always
they're
thought
not going to have a lewd one in the Guinness Book of Records, like.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Now, this one's very interesting, Dad, actually. I didn't know this, and you said you did know it, but I didn't actually know this until I read it in prep for this episode. Each king in a deck of playing cards represents a great king from history.
Yeah, I knew that. I don't know what they are. I know one of them is Alexander the Great, but correct. I don't know what the others
are. You're about to find out.
Okay.
Right, so clubs is indeed Alexander the Great. Well done, Del.
Nice one.
Spades is King David.
Bible King David?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, biblical King David.
Why?
Don't know.
Okay.
Spades is King David, sorry, yeah. Diamonds is Julius Caesar. And hearts is Charlemagne. Hope said that
I
right.
want to know why for all of them.
I think it's just in tribute, I suppose. Like why each suite?
Why each one
Each suit?
is that particular suit? Yeah.
Well, I'd say it's probably arbitrary, maybe.
You think? I don't know.
Let's look it up and find out.
Yeah.
And I'm back from the land of Google. So HowStuffWorks.com says French and British decks of the 16th century were said to often depict Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, the biblical King David, and Charlemagne. Jesus Christ.
Charlemagne.
Jesus Christ.
Paul's great at English.
Fuck off. Right, okay, do it again.
No, that's staying in.
No, bollocks.
That's staying
Right.
in. Go for it.
Okay, French and British decks of the 16th century were said to often depict Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, the biblical King David, and Charlemagne.
Yeah, that's perfect. Go for it.
Charlemagne. On the king cards, representing the four great empires of Greece, Rome, the Jews, and the Franks.
Right.
So I'm assuming the suits were representative of the empire. So
Yeah.
are we saying, so what did we say? Clubs was Alexander the
Alexander
Great. So
the
the
Great.
club represents Greece. Rome is diamonds. The Franks were the hearts. What was King David then? Would have been spades.
Those clubs. No, wasn't that clubs? You
No,
just
clubs
said.
was
I thought he was.
the Great. Hang on, we'll go back to the.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ooh, big change. Clubs is Alexander the Great.
Right.
Spades is King David. Diamonds is Julius Caesar, and hearts is Charlemagne.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Franco-German. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So we know what the kings are. I wonder what the queens and the jacks are.
I can tell you that now as well. I don't know about the jacks, but the queens. Queen cards often included the goddess Athena. There she is again now.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
Can't get away, man, can we?
No.
And Rachel, the wife of the biblical Jacob, among other ladies. Many Spanish and German decks historically eschewed queenly representation in favour of a separate pack of male figures.
Okay.
So you had kings and kings, basically. Which is a bit weird. Anyway, there was a brief trend in the late 16th century France to assign famous personages or literary figures to specific court cards. But there was never any universally accepted standard for this, and different regions and printers reflected their own preferences. Some of these connections still persist unofficially, but it merely reflects a trend among some French printers that was temporary at best.
Okay, so it comes from somewhere where people attributed the king of a suit in cards to a certain person, and then it just became more and more whimsical
Yeah, well,
as time went on.
the kings were pretty much a universal. They were those four kings. The queens are kind of arbitrary.
But then what I mean is when it came to the printers of the cards, they just also put on their own whims and their own.
When it comes to the queens, yeah, but the kings are the kings. They're
Okay.
and they're universal.
Yeah, okay.
Those images are universal.
Okay.
Across
Okay.
all the decks. But yes, the other
Okay.
the
So it
other
got
picture
more and more
cards were whimsical.
arbitrary.
Yeah.
So when you got down to jacks or something like that, it could be your fucking nephew or something. Yeah, all right. That's all.
Actually, here's a little bit more on it. Anyway. If anything, the depiction of actual kings and queens on playing cards was an after-the-fact notion. This identification of the court cards with famous persons and literary figures only arose well after playing cards were already popular, and thus were preceded by decks of playing cards that had artwork merely depicting the nobility in a more general way. Yeah, so it was something that kind of came later after cards had been invented that they started to do the four kings and whatever.
Okay.
So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Chocolate can kill dogs, though.
Knew that.
Yeah. Do you know why, though?
No.
Right. It contains theobromine, which is a similar thing to caffeine,
Yeah.
which affects their heart and their nervous system. And they're not capable of breaking it down or metabolizing it as humans can. And it majorly affects a dog's central nervous system, heart and kidneys.
Wow.
Now, I'm assuming that, the little chalky bites and stuff you can get for dogs
Yeah.
is basically theobromine free, I would imagine.
It'd have to be.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every one of those companies would be sued into oblivion if it wasn't.
Yeah,
so,
true enough.
So
actually,
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't give chocolate to your dog, even though they beg for it. Like they love it.
Yeah,
Like,
Jesus, yeah.
My dog will sit there and just watch you eating chocolate.
My dog will sit and watch you eating anything, and it's like, I swear to God, like, you'll only feed her.
That's all dogs do.
She's up in your face looking for more, like, geez. And I mean, she's well fed, don't get me wrong, we're not starving her, honestly. If you sneeze too hard, you can fracture a rib. And if you try to suppress a sneeze, you can rupture a blood vessel in your head or neck and die.
Okay, that's very...
That's dark.
Die.
That's dark, isn't it?
I actually knew both of those because I've sneezed so hard by times that it's felt like I've broken a rib.
Go away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when it just catches you unawares.
Yeah,
and
now
you're
I get
dying
fits
of a cold.
of sneezing.
Yeah. I've never suffocated a sneeze so... Suppressed it so hard that I've... You feel like your eyes are going to pop out.
I did one here last week. Remember when we were like in the middle of recording and I was like waving my arms around going...
Fucking no. I've
yeah. Last thing you want to hear is me sneezing on air, you know. Yeah, so I often do suppress a sneeze. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I might sneeze so hard that I hurt a rib, but I do not suppress sneezes for exactly that fact.
Yeah, well now
I know it's dangerous.
I'll be disinclined to do it again.
Yeah.
Now here's one for you. What's the only food that doesn't spoil ever?
Don't know.
Honey, apparently.
Yeah,
it
that
does
makes
not
sense.
go off.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does, because if I remember...
I've got a bottle of organic cider vinegar at home that doesn't go off.
You serious?
Never goes off.
It's not really a food though, is it? It's more of a condiment, liquid.
It's not a fucking condiment.
Well, you put it on stuff. Or
you don't put it on stuff.
What? It's not like vinegar?
No.
Oh, it's for cooking. Apple cider vinegar. Sorry, yeah. You cooking it. It's an ingredient.
Yeah, I don't cook in it either. I use it. Cider vinegar drinks. Like it's.
Oh, you
great.
Drink it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. See, I'm completely.
Yeah, no, it's very good. But anyway, it doesn't have a sell-by date. It doesn't have a.
They don't sell it in Aldi. I don't know anything about it. And actually, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think when they opened, like, you know, fucking King Tutankhamun's tomb or something, or one of those, they found like honey.
Yeah, that's vaguely familiar. Yeah, I think I remember hearing that somewhere.
Still edible, like.
Yeah.
So you get a pretty penny for that now on the black market. Imagine some, you know, billionaire out there and he's serving crackers with King Tut and honey on them, you know. Be a market for it. Not that I'm saying that we should be selling artifacts or priceless stuff, but there would definitely be a market for that, I would imagine, yeah. Foie gras and, you know, King Tut's bleeding honey.
Okay, I'm stopping this conversation as soon as we get on to foie gras. Fuck that shit, because I hate how they get that, and fuck it, move on. Let's go.
Okay, you'll have to fill me in later how they get that, because I don't know.
Fucking disgusting.
I know it is pretty bad, yeah.
Motherfuckers.
When the moon is directly overhead, you will weigh slightly less. Which, if you think about it, stands to reason, right?
Yeah, makes sense to me, yeah.
As per the calculation, it is said that a person will weigh 0.48 grams lighter for a 100 gram person. Sorry, for a 100 kg person, a 100 gram person, that's a pretty small baby. When the moon is directly overhead, they are going to weigh 0.5 gram lighter, as the moon attracts you in the same way as it attracts water and makes tides.
Yeah. Now, I knew that, and I knew it influenced people. I was going home. I was a teenager, and I was going home on the bus one night, and it's when you could smoke on buses.
Jeez, that's a long time ago. Jesus.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I was a teenager once, but I was going home. I was sitting on the back of the bus upstairs, and we went around the roundabout, and it was in winter, so it was dark out. The moon was up, and we went around a roundabout, and I was just looking. I just happened to be looking up the center of the top of the bus, and everybody who was asleep, which was lots of people because it was just going home from work time, we're all leaning in the same direction. And when we went around the roundabout and went down the road in a different direction than the one we'd been coming to when we got to the roundabout,
right,
the moon had changed position,
right,
and everybody just slowly lumbered over and leaned to the other side.
That's mad.
Yeah, and I was like, fucking no way. And so I went home and like didn't have the internet.
Might have been the odd message board, maybe. Yeah.
Library, look it up. Yeah. And that's when I learned that the moon influences the oceans and the bodies of water and all that kind of stuff.
The gravitational
and I didn't go, logically, that's what it was, but I went, that's what it must have been. And the fact that people were asleep and weren't conscious, sitting upright, and in control of the bodies, like inverted commas, in control
Yeah,
of
no, I know
bodies.
what you mean, though,
But
yeah.
they were susceptible to the influence of the moon.
That's
and I was
nuts.
like, that's fucking crazy,
That's
man.
nuts. I
So
love
maybe it's
that.
full of shite, but
No, I love that.
I think it's great, yeah.
Definitely, man. That is class. That is absolutely class. You can just see it down like in my head. You know, this guy's leaning everywhere. I'm leaning away from my mic there, sorry. Yeah, no, class, absolutely class. Now, this one, and we're going to have to come back to this because this is fascinating.
Okay,
And
we've got a few to come back to.
Yeah, and I didn't do an awful lot of homework on this one, and I really want to come back, and I think you do as well, Del. Actually, do like maybe even a whole podcast around this one fact, right? What do bulletproof vests, fire escapes, windshield wipers, laser printers all have in common?
Tell me.
They're all invented by women. Which I think
It's
is
fascinating,
pretty cool.
isn't it?
It is, and especially bulletproof vests, because we've done a little bit, because like we were going to present a little bit more information here.
Here's how it played out. Paul tells me what facts he's got, and I see if there's any crossover with facts that I've got, so one of us won't say it.
Yeah.
So it's not said twice or something. And he said that to me, and I asked names, dates, who, where and when, and he couldn't answer me. It's just a fact that he's just thrown out there, and I was like, I'm so gonna look into this more. There's so much.
So we went to have a look and try and get names, and then we went down a rabbit hole just on bulletproof vests.
Just trying to find names, the name of the lady, and
we did find her. I'll tell you now.
And there's just,
but there's so much interesting stuff about this
but
woman who
while
invented
looking for her name, there was so much more that I was saying, can't ignore that, can't ignore that,
Massive,
can't ignore that.
Yeah.
So definitely coming back
anyway,
to this
just to, before we move on from it, her name was Stephanie Kwolek. She lived from Kwolek.
Okay.
She lived from 1923 to 2014, and she invented it she made an unexpected discovery in 1965 that led to the creation of synthetic fibre so strong that not even steel bullets could penetrate. But she kind of came across it by accident. Wow. And there's so much more to it, and I'm not going to go into it now because we are definitely going to do a podcast probably on this lady, or certainly on female inventors as a whole. But that's, it's a rabbit hole to go down.
And it's just so interesting. And I
big time.
Looked up, and there's a few things I can think of offhand which are mention worthy. And so I don't just want to arbitrarily just kind of, and then there was this one and that one, and I can't remember her name, and blah 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 blah.
But Stephanie Kwolek anyway. She's a fascinating lady,
gonna look
and we
into
didn't
it,
know who she was an hour ago, so that's interesting indeed, and we will come back to that lady. Definitely.
Do you remember being told when you were a kid carrots were good for your eyesight?
Yeah.
Was it
good
for your
eyesight? The dark?
Help you see in the dark.
Help you see in the dark.
I can't remember where everything fucking puts hair in your chest. If carrots put hair in your chest and you're a woman, you're fucked. I can't remember whether I was told they help your eyesight or they help you see in the dark. And
probably
I'm sure
both.
it was see in the dark.
Probably both.
Well,
I've heard both.
Here's the thing, right? Carrots contain beta carotene.
Yeah, keratin,
which the human body uses to make vitamin A.
Yeah.
Which is scientifically proven to aid in the health of your eyes. And the better your eyes are health-wise, then the better you will see. Yeah. Obviously, that makes sense. During World War II, the British Ministry of Information pushed the narrative that eating carrots regularly improves night vision. That's where that came from.
Right.
A pilot, John Cunningham, was nicknamed Cat's Eyes and shot down 20 planes. So he was
an ace of aces.
An ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 5 is an ace.
Yeah.
So
so there you go. 4 times over. So he shot down 20 planes. 19 of them were at night.
Wow.
Yeah. So
did he eat a lot of carrots?
The ministry said it was because he ate an excess of carrots. You're laughing at it now, but people believed it.
I bet you'll find that they probably had a warehouse somewhere of carrots gone bad and they needed rid of them.
Yeah.
Maybe and that's why that was put out,
The truth is, the RAF were able to repel the Luftwaffe because of a radar allowing British pilots to locate incoming aircraft from their cockpits.
Yeah. So even if they
It
hadn't
was a
got
top secret on board.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
It was a top secret onboard airborne interception radar
Yeah.
in their cockpits.
AIR,
So
yeah.
they were able to locate
So you're in my
pilots,
wheelhouse
incoming pilots,
Yeah.
and intercept them.
Yeah.
And this guy shot down
And so
19 of his 20
Yeah.
at night.
So it wasn't a warehouse of carrots. It was just a propaganda story put out to cover.
A top secret.
Yeah. Top secret radar.
Secret,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carrots being good for your night vision is no more true than eating blueberries will make you go blue.
Violet. You're turning violet.
Though both foodstuffs are incredibly good for you.
Yeah.
So, it's well worth eating them anyway. But the whole carrots will help you see in your dark, in the dark. If you're telling that to your kids, you are willfully lying to them now.
Yeah.
Because you know better.
Because you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was all propaganda. That's mad.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember being told that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Sure, I heard it myself. The hell, yeah.
Everybody did.
Yeah. The only goes, I never had a problem eating meat.
No,
green,
neither did I.
I
I didn't either.
carrots.
Eat your carrots. It'll help you see in the dark. And I was like, I'm eating my carrots.
I've one at home now that won't eat vegetable, won't eat a Sunday dinner. She goes ballistic every Sunday.
No, I
putting
don't
a
know.
goo on me, putting a goo on me, that.
Here's this will take your goo off.
Right.
The oldest surviving condom was dug up during an excavation of Dudley Castle in the UK. Several condoms were located in a medieval toilet. So,
Used.
obviously, fucking, and even if they weren't, they were fucking from the Middle Ages, man. I don't want them.
They fucking rubber glove fucking fingers, yeah, Jesus. That's mad. Hard to believe they had them back then, isn't it? I'm assuming they weren't to the, what's the word I'm looking for, standard that they are now, but even so, they even come up with the idea in the Middle Ages is mad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that mad to me.
I mean, given how women were treated back then, they wouldn't give a shit. They got someone.
Okay,
pregnant.
well, hold that thought. These condoms that were dug up were made from animal and fish intestines, dated around 1646. That's not why I said hold that thought.
Yeah, okay.
In the 1500s, Japanese men wore condoms made from tortoise shells and animal horns.
Ouch.
So, yeah, sparing a thought for women, I don't fucking think so.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why bother then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't give a shit they got someone pregnant back then. No problem.
Well, they obviously did.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought so. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's mad.
It is, and it sounds sore. Tortoise shells and
Jesus
animal
Christ.
horns.
Sore for both. Like.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Jesus.
On February the 20th, 1985, in Ireland, a coalition of Fine Gael and Labour defeated opposition from Fianna Fáil to make condoms available to 18 plus without prescription.
That's right, yeah.
Fucking prescription. Going to your doctor to get a prescription.
And that
to
didn't
get a condom.
Yeah, but that didn't even come into effect until 1990 though.
Yeah, it's fucking
Like, it's
nuts.
nuts.
It's nuts. But they defeated them by a vote of 83 to 80.
Marginal.
Fucking grisly, gnarly, old fucking men making decisions for the rest of society and for
the
the
bishops
youth.
fucking backing them all the way. Or telling
Hold
them
that
what to
thought.
do.
People under 18 still couldn't get condoms. And they were having sex.
I think under 16 now you still can't get them. Well, you get them in pub toilets, I suppose.
They're
now,
having sex.
but I know, yeah. Of
You
course,
know?
Yeah.
All that kind of thing. But of the February the 20th, 1985 vote where they voted to allow condoms to be available to 18 pluses without prescription, the church warned of moral degradation.
Yeah.
Fucking,
And even at that, like what you're saying, without
just
prescription.
fucking wankers making decisions
celibate,
for the rest.
Allegedly celibate boy, fucking wrinkly old men, you know, who fucking
Making
fuck
decisions
off.
for everybody else.
Yeah, but come here, you're saying without prescription, but back then you had to be married to even get a prescription for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. We've come a long way.
We have, but we still have a long way to
We
go.
have
a long way to go though. We're not there yet. I mean, look at the opposition to kind of fucking free sanitary products.
Yeah.
No, and it's still being opposed, or giving free condoms in colleges and stuff.
Yeah.
It's still being opposed now. Like, it's
fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
Anyway,
Just
we move on.
ignorant.
And I mean, bearing in
incels.
mind, you're talking 1985 there. This is the height of the AIDS pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Ourselves. God forgive me.
Yeah. What's more dangerous? vending machines or sharks?
I'm gonna say vending machines.
Yep. Each year, more people die from vending machines than die from sharks.
Explain.
In the US, I can't give you any more. I can explain.
You have explained. You said in
just
the
say
US.
it's stupidity. You can
You're pretty more likely
conjure it up in your head.
You're pretty more likely to be eaten by a vending machine than a shark too.
You can conjure up in your head the person that freaks the fuck out because a vending machine swallowed their dollar or their their euro
thing that falls
or
on
whatever
top.
it was.
I remember actually as a child, I'll never forget it. It's not quite a vending machine, but the same kind of idea. You know those little egg machines, you get a little egg with toy inside it, right? I remember in Northside Shopping Centre, and I put my hand in to take the egg out after getting it, but whatever way those old machines were made, like a little door or wherever it was opened for the egg to come out and then closed. I put my hand in to take the egg and the door hadn't closed. I actually trapped my fingers in it.
Wow.
And I was stuck there for probably a few minutes, but it felt like hours to a 3-year-old child. They had to get an engineer to come out, open the fucking thing.
Hell, can you imagine the lawsuits that would be flying now?
I know, we just say, fucking thanks very much, and walked away. But yeah, like my fingers were bruised all across the fucking tops of my fingers. Never forget that.
Well,
but mad.
In principle the same, but you can just picture the person freaking the fuck out and attacking a vending machine that then attacks them back.
Yeah, falls on top of them or like that. Even trying to tilt the vending machine, if your thing doesn't fall out properly and you're trying to tilt it to get it out and bang.
There are probably warnings around not to do that.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. Absolutely.
In the US, the chances of dying from a shark bite is 1 in 250 million. The odds of dying from a vending machine falling on a user is 1 in 112 million.
Yeah, okay, that's in the US, but I'd imagine Australia and South Africa are probably slightly more likely to be killed by a shark than that.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're just picking holes.
No, I'm not picking holes. I'm just saying the stats are, but it's probably still way more likely to be killed by a vending machine, though.
Well, yeah, but even when I was reading it, the 1 in 250 million chance of being eaten by a shark, how many people of that 250 million have never seen the sea?
Yeah.
You know?
Quite a few. Yeah,
so it is.
Yeah.
But statistically,
Middle America.
1 in 250 million chance of dying from a shark bite. The odds of dying from a vending machine falling on a user is 1 in 112 million. How many of those 112 million have never seen a vending machine?
None.
Pretty slim that there's any. It's more likely, more than twice as dangerous to use a vending machine than it is to go into the sea and possibly get eaten by a shark.
Well, I mean, how many of those people who were eaten by sharks were not in the sea at the time?
0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not quite.
And how many of the people who use vending machines often frequent the sea or any form of exercise?
Or how many of the people killed by vending machines weren't using a vending machine at the time? Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, yeah. But it's interesting, though.
Light travels from the sun to the earth in about 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
But can take up to 200,000 years to get to the surface of the sun from the center of it before it makes that 8 minute, 20 second journey.
Is the sun that big?
The sun's huge.
I know it's huge, and I can't really comprehend how huge it is, but it takes light that long to get from the core to the surface.
Yeah, but it doesn't travel in a straight line.
It's not travelling at the speed of light.
It's bouncing around and getting the photons getting captured by other elements that will then eject it and send it off in a different direction. So it's not a straight line. Yeah, it's all over the gaff.
Okay, now I thought you were suggesting that the sun was so big.
No, that's just nuts. Yeah, that means what?
Well, the sun is 200,000 light years wide.
That's fucking nuts.
No. Okay.
An electron orbits a nucleus in a specific orbit. So, without getting too sciencey on this, because I'm not a scientist and not really equipped to go into this.
Yeah, no, I'm really not on this.
The nucleus and then the electrons orbit. Okay.
I mean, even when we done DNA, I was struggling with the whole idea of nucleuses and electrons.
So,
it's always been something.
When the electron orbiting the nucleus gets energized, it moves into a higher orbit.
Yeah.
Picture the solar system and the Earth going around the sun, and it gets energized and popped out onto the
Yeah.
orbit of Mars, for instance.
Right, okay.
Just further out, okay? When it's on that orbit further out, it can influence electrons on those orbits.
He said he wasn't going to get into the
and
science.
pop them onto a higher orbit, okay?
Right, so it's exponential.
So that's the explanation for how they get energized.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I initially said if it gets energized, it pops onto a higher orbit where it influences other ones and pops them onto a higher orbit.
Right, yeah.
But electrons don't like being on a strange orbit, and they create a packet of energy that they eject, and it pops them back to their original orbit. That packet of energy is a photon.
Okay, right, yeah.
That's why it takes 200,000 years to get from the center of the sun out to the surface, and then it can make its 8-minute, 20-second journey to Earth.
Where we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it either lands on the top of your head or it lands in your eyes.
Yeah. And
so
then
200,000 years and 8 minutes and 20 seconds.
And the time that it takes your eye, so your brain to process it when it hits your eye.
Yeah, if indeed it hits an eye.
Yeah. That's nuts. I do love the whole concept, though, that when you're looking at the stars, you're looking at the past.
Yeah.
Because, fucking those stars could be dead.
True. Yeah.
It could take up,
and some of them probably are.
Yeah. It can take up to, with the naked eye, I'm not sure it's a couple of light years anyway, isn't it? That you can see with the naked eye.
I don't know how far we can see with the naked eye.
Yeah, but you're looking at least a couple of light years anyway. Yeah. So it's a year, if one of those stars died, you won't see it die for a year. That's mad,
Yeah.
I love that idea. Time travel, kind of.
The 6th president of the US in 1824, John Quincy Adams.
Jesus, the one from Boston, I should have known that.
Once approved a plan to send 100 men to the Arctic so they could burrow to the center of the earth and meet the secret civilization that lived there.
I have no words.
Andrew Jackson took office before the plan was put into action and vetoed it, and the state-funded journey to the center of the earth.
Andrew Jackson was somebody's favourite president.
No,
he was, very famously, he was someone's favourite president.
I don't know.
Remember?
No.
Bartlett from The West Wing.
I don't watch The West Wing.
Have you not watched it?
No.
Tell us the greatest TV show I ever made. And I'm not just saying that it's highly recognised as the greatest television show I ever made. It's fucking fabulous. It's wonderful. But yeah, I might try it. He constantly quotes and refers to Andrew Jackson. Yeah, all the time.
Okay, well,
love it.
You've got to admire Andrew Jackson for putting the kibosh on that fucking plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Incidentally, Jules Verne's book of the same name wasn't published until 1864, and then it was in French.
Yes.
And not in English till 1867.
Interesting.
And it was 1824 when John Quincy Adams wanted to do this.
Actually, his book, The Time Machine, may have been the first kind of beyond picture book that I actually read. I'm really sure it was. First one I remember reading anyway. Very young when I read The Time Machine. Been a sci-fi fan ever since. Funny enough.
Sonic the Hedgehog's full name is
Logan's going to love this.
Ogilvy Morris Hedgehog. Ogilvy, Ogilvie. Morris Hedgehog.
Where's that come from? Where does Sonic come out of?
I don't fucking know. Okay. Sonic because...
I know. Yeah, Sonic because he's fast and all that, but I didn't realise he had an actual name. They gave him a name,
It's not they gave him a name. They created a character called Sonic. And maybe they did, but he would have had a background. Yeah. He would have had a profile. Yeah, and I'm saying
didn't realise they had given them a background.
I'm saying that from a character animation design point of view.
Yeah.
If you're creating a character, you need to understand the character, how they would react in certain circumstances or situations.
I understand that in a movie or a TV show, but for a video game, do they need to go to that level?
Well, is Sonic the Hedgehog not a movie now?
It is now, yeah.
Yeah, but that's my point.
When they would have done it back then.
There's got to be a substance to a character.
But even given though, but I just thought Sonic was his name. It's interesting you say that though. Do you know what Mario's second name is?
No.
Mario.
Mario.
Mario and Luigi Mario, yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
That's why it's Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers.
Well, no, I knew they were brothers.
Yeah, but the game is called Mario Brothers. The
Oh,
plumbing
right,
company
because
is
their
the
second name is Mario.
Brothers.
Right, yeah. Okay.
So it's Mario and Luigi Mario. Nuts.
Just going back to time and photons and coming from
Oh, do we have
the
to?
8-minute, 20
Really,
second.
do we have to?
A jiffy
Yeah.
is
Go
the
on.
proper unit of time.
No.
A jiffy is a proper unit of time.
And what is it?
I'll be back in a jiffy.
Yeah,
you know that? And you've
yeah.
been told that?
But
A
in
jiffy
seconds,
is a
what
proper,
is it?
it's 1/60th of a second.
1/60th of a second is a jiffy. You won't be back in a jiffy.
It's
Not unless you're the Flash.
it's how long light travels a femtometer.
A what now?
A femtometer.
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 Cool.
A femtometer is a millionth of a millimeter. Why would you even want it? You know? And I understand the whole quantum science exploration thing, and I love it, and I'd love to be great at it, and I suck at it, and I suck at all sciences and all that kind of shit, but I love them.
Entanglement stuff, and I really want to do that, because at the very beginning of this podcast, the very, very first episode, even before we even recorded anything, our blurb was everything from quantum physics to the latest episode of South Park. I want to do something on quantum physics.
Well,
definitely.
if you're following us to do something, to listen to us do something on quantum physics, you won't be getting me to do it. It's just
no, but something just.
it's too big and it's too entangled.
I know, but it's not
too complex.
It's too entangled.
Yeah, and it's too complex.
Yeah.
To even begin to get your head around. And I'm not talking about it until I can properly get my head around anything. And if you can't properly explain something, then you don't understand it enough.
Yeah, maybe.
And so it'll be quite a while before I do that.
Okay.
So if we disappear off the radar for a long time, then I come back learning with a doctor in front of me fucking name, then let's talk then. Okay. After World War II ended, a Japanese soldier, Hiroo Onoda, hid in the jungle of Lubang, a Pacific island.
I've heard of this.
I heard this the other day. I was listening to an audiobook and they mentioned it and I went, I fucking know this.
Yeah.
And it was this guy.
He
it
came
was
out the jungle
this
years later, didn't he?
Hiroo Onoda. He didn't his fucking shite.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
It's the most accurate way I can put it.
Okay, then
For 29 years, he refused to believe the war had ended.
Right.
It wasn't until Onoda's commanding officer, now a bookseller, flew to Lubang. Now, you see, the governments of, I think it's Malaysia, I'm not sure, and Japan had dropped leaflets on the forest where they knew he was because they were telling them that the war was over. And they had tried to repatriate them all after the war, after Japan surrendered.
Yeah.
And they'd gotten some home, obviously, but they didn't get some home, obviously, as well. And he read the letters and he refused to believe them. He thought it was just a ploy to get himself captured. And they used to do him and two other men, and one of them was killed in a fight with local villagers in a gunfight, and the other one I think was captured, which I'll get back to in a minute. But he stayed at large, inverted commas, for 29 years, and he was doing raids on local villagers, that kind of stuff. And then Onoda's commanding officer, who's now a bookseller, flew to Lubang to relieve Onoda of his duties.
Yeah.
Only then did Onoda stand down.
So was it a refusal to believe it, or just
It's a ploy. It's a ploy by the enemy to capture him.
But then there's also like a rigid adherence to duty,
which absolutely
Japanese
it would have been, but
with,
had it have been that rigid and adherence to his duties, he wouldn't have stood down after his.
Well, he would have CO told him to. That's what I'm saying. It's that kind of that.
Well, that's
command
what it took.
Structure. He will not come out until his CO tells him.
That's what it took
to be ordered. Yeah.
But
that's mad.
Which kind of answers my question, because when one of his colleagues, one of his comrades, was caught and would have then found out that yes, the war has ended.
Yeah.
Why didn't he go back to try and fucking convince Anoda? He was like, listen, this shit that we're doing really isn't called for.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, for 29 years, he refused to believe the war was over. And
PTSD as well as everything else thrown in there.
there'd be
as well, I'm
everything
sure.
else in
Yeah.
there. But the locals they had harassed for nearly 3 decades were extremely relieved. They were happy when he came out, put his arms down.
Fucking lunatics still fighting the war. Like,
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
And I'm sure. And which one of the Vietnam movies was it? That was the tagline. Like 30 years after the fall of Saigon, some people are still fighting the Vietnam War.
Is that not the A-Team?
No. Funny enough, I was thinking the A-Team as well myself, but no, I'm pretty sure they didn't say they're still fighting the Vietnam War.
Yeah. No. It's
But,
no.
Yeah, no, it was. It was all to do with PTSD and,
Was that sounds like it might be
Veterans who came back.
a tagline or something to Deer Hunter or some shit
probably
like that.
was,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. 30 years later, they're still fighting the Vietnam War.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't
Anyway,
remember. I'll look it up and find out later.
yeah, do. You have a right to remain silent.
Do I?
No, but do you know that?
I do indeed.
You've
yeah.
a right
The
to
Miranda
remain
rights,
silent.
yeah.
You've a right to an
To
attorney if
if you can't afford an attorney,
one will be appointed to you.
appointed to you. This is the American version.
Yeah.
Anything you say may and will be
Can
used in
and will be
evidence.
held against you in a court of law. Do you understand these rights as I have repeat them to you? Or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something like that. All cops coming out of the fucking academy will have that little thing on a card that
That's
they
right,
read.
yeah.
The Miranda rights.
Yeah.
Do you know where the Miranda rights come from?
Something to do with the civil rights movement?
Nope.
No. Okay.
And this is just one of the things that will click in my head at some stage. Not click, but will occur, and I'll go, Miranda rights.
Yeah, why is it called Miranda?
Why
right?
is
yeah,
it Miranda?
Yeah.
And this
I
goes
think
back
very much
to
like you.
what was the podcast we were doing where we were talking about Ghostbusters and Ecto-1.
Oh, I'm not sure which episode it was, but I do remember.
And
yeah.
I said, when I went to see Ghostbusters with my parents, my mum came out and wondered why Ecto-1 was called Ecto-1
and what
and
ecto
looked it
was.
up, and it was
Ectoplasm.
ectoplasm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was something like that. I just woke up and wondered why it was called the Miranda rights. Why the fuck is that called the Miranda rights? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know? And so I looked it
See,
up.
that is the kind of thing my ADHD brain is doing at 3 o'clock in the morning when I should be sleeping.
We see I can
That's-
sleep and then wake
yeah.
up and go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
and
no,
then look it up.
I lie in bed thinking about it.
Excuse me. Or it will occur to me mid cup of tea, mid walking down the street,
yeah.
mid bus ride. It'll just go, what the fuck? And then I
Our
have
brains
to
work in
find
very
out.
similar ways,
yeah.
definitely. Or maybe everybody's does,
So-
I don't know.
Ernesto
Yeah,
Miranda.
But, right. That wasn't a woman.
No, just a sec. Ernesto
I always thought
Miranda
it was
was
a
a
woman called
career
Miranda.
criminal piece of shit arrested in 1963. And I do mean piece of shit.
Okay,
He
I
was
was
a
wondering why
career
you
man.
would say that.
Yeah, he was a
okay.
career criminal piece of shit that was arrested in 1963, accused of kidnapping, raping, and robbing an 18-year-old girl on her way home from work.
Piece of shit.
Piece of
That's been
shit.
complimentary to the bastard. Go on.
He was picked up and put in a lineup from which she couldn't identify him. When he asked, and this is a dead fucking giveaway anyway, when he asked an officer afterwards, how did I do? The officer said, not too good.
You just fucked yourself up there now, buddy.
Not too good, Ernie. And he was brought into and you know the way we're reacting to him asking the question, how did I do?
Yeah.
That's a fucking look, there's your guilty
There's
guy.
your guy there,
yeah.
right there, yeah.
But this cop obviously had the same reaction. Okay? He was brought into a room and questioned for 2 hours without a lawyer. And the girl, the victim, was brought in front of him into the same fucking room.
Unidentified.
And he said, and couldn't identify him. And he said, yeah, that's the girl. And he admitted his crime.
Wow.
And he was convicted by...
Yeah, so they got on
He
by
was convicted by an Arizona court.
Yeah, so they got on by insinuating that she had identified him when in fact she had. Right.
Well, they didn't insinuate.
Well, they did.
No, they didn't.
By telling them that he didn't do well in the lineup and then by bringing her into the room, that's exactly what
They inferred
They inferred that
he'd been...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That elicited it.
loads wrong with that shit that
Yeah.
should never have happened. But because his rights hadn't been upheld, the US Supreme Court vacated the verdict and ordered a retrial, excluding his confession as evidence. Because it had been
manipulated out.
Coerced, if you will.
Well, if that's pre-Miranda rights, then there was nothing to stop the cops doing that, I would have thought. That was legal to do that then.
But he obviously still had...
The Miranda rights was what made that illegal to do that.
He was questioned without a lawyer, so they knew he should have a lawyer present. There was just nothing written down in the sense of read these to your...
To your client, yeah. Or
not your client. To your
arresting.
Yeah. When he went for retrial, his girlfriend testified against him because he had said to her, and I'd imagine she was some piece of fucking work as well, but he had said to her everything about the crime that he had committed. And he was a career criminal, so she must have been... She must have bent a law or two in her time too. Yeah. But you know...
Birds of a feather flock together and all that, yeah.
So she testified against him and he was convicted and sentenced to 20 to 30 years.
Good. But then they had to... What's the word I'm looking for? They had to codify those rights.
This is the reason the Miranda rights are called the Miranda rights.
Yeah, so they were codified.
So they were codified and you have to... All officers have to say to them, do you understand these rights as I have told them to you? Yeah,
but it's not just that they have to be said to them. I'm assuming that's when those rights were afforded
to
everybody.
Yeah, it is.
So before that, he wouldn't have had those rights. Not only would he have not had them read to him, he wouldn't have been entitled to them. You know,
I'm sure it would have been a lot looser. But rights, if the US Supreme Court can vacate a verdict based on the fact that based on the fact that all the evidence gained wasn't done through legal channels, then he did have rights.
Right, so the rights themselves were already in place. The only thing that wasn't in place was a cop reading them to you and telling you, informing you of the rights that you have.
So
understood.
So he could have said, no, you can't hold me here. You can't.
Yeah, or I want to see a lawyer.
Where's
he
my
didn't
lawyer?
know they were his rights.
So
he didn't know he had the rights.
He hadn't been told, but they did exist.
Right, okay, yeah.
So Ernesto Miranda was paroled in December 1975. From that 20 to 30 years. He was sent down for 20 to 30 years.
And when was the crime committed? Yeah, so he didn't do an awful lot.
Well, 20 to 30 years. He got out obviously early, but he did, 15?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, so if he was done in, I think it was 67, the retrial was ordered and he was done and he went down, that's 8 years.
Yeah, I suppose,
So the 20 to 30 years, they never fucking...
No, he never...
But anyway, he was paroled by December 1975. 1 month later, he was stabbed to death in a Phoenix bar. No one was ever convicted of his murder, but the 2 suspects were read the rights he had precipitated all that time ago.
Wow, that's mad,
And they knew him. Apparently, one of them was pointed out as a person of interest, like this guy is the fucking guy that stabbed that guy.
Yeah.
But he had fled the state and he had fled to Mexico.
Right.
And so no one was ever arrested for it.
Right. Well, no, they were arrested, just never charged.
No one was ever convicted
because
for it.
If they read the rights, they were arrested. So yeah.
Fuck.
Gotcha. That's mad.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Bastard.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Hope he's born in the circle of hell that I just started hoping exists now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Fuck
exactly.
him.